Hi, this is Summer with Summer's Tips and Stitches, and in this video I'm going to be talking about this book in these two little patterns. It's called Too Cute Amigurumi. I got this book for Christmas. I've talked about it in a couple of videos on this Christmas break. I went to, I'm adjusting my light there. I went to Hobby Lobby and I bought a bunch more yarn. Elise was with gift card to make the projects in this book. I've made two of them, so I thought I would talk about it with you. Now, I wanted to give a quick shout out. I don't do them too often, and it's not anything against my crochet friends' YouTube videos. It's just I tend to be very scatterbrained, especially when it comes to remembering names in YouTube videos. And then I think I'm going to, and I'll take notes, and then I lose my notes. But I am going to be very mindful. When I was making these projects, I was watching John Boy Crochet. I'm loving him right now. I don't know when. Today was the first day I've ever seen any of his videos. It just came up in my suggested videos. And I'm not going to lie, he had this blue sparkly hat on, and I thought, I'm really interested in watching his videos. So I've watched a few videos. I'm going to continue binge watching him for the rest of the night. He seems like a very sweet and caring person. He has a Southern accent, so I really love that. I love a Southern accent. So far I've just heard him talk about shopping at the Dollar Tree, Walmart. I watched a couple of his tutorials on, I want to say it was a washboard cowl. And with the fall yarn. I mean, I really am enjoying him. So check out John Boy Crochet. He only has just over 3,000 subscribers. So he is delightful to watch. Okay, so I just wanted to say that. I've been watching him while I made these projects. Now, I chose the first one that I was going to make. I really thought I was going to make this first, but I decided to go with something very simple, and I made the cloud. This little guy here. And actually, I made him all out of Bella Coco yarn. So this yarn is all yarn that I got from Bella Coco's Crochet Societies. Now, I'm going to tell you, these little legs are very hard to make. And that's because at the very end, this is a 6-stitch tube, and it's very difficult. I don't know if it was because it was in the blue or because of my eyes. I feel like my eyes are giving out on me. I mean, I'm by no means blind, but seeing really small things, or things if it's not bright enough, or if I don't have reading glasses. Anyway, you don't need to hear my sob story. It was very hard for me to see the stitches. And if you can tell, this leg is probably a little fatter than that leg. I even tried to stuff this one more. But this was actually a really cute, simple project. Like I said, I used, I'm going to pull them out for you, these 3 Bella Coco yarns. I believe this is called Buttermint, which I would call bubblegum. But if you remember, Bella Coco calls this weird blue yarn, greenish blue yarn, bubblegum. This is actually Irresistible Erin in the color Polar. I don't even know what this is projects from. Maybe the Snow Yeti? I don't know. And Raspberry Sour. I know. I don't know if like in America, like purplish red are raspberry colors, but maybe that's why it's sour. I don't know. So anyway, these are all leftover yarns that I had from Crochet Society boxes, and that is what I made this cloud out of. The hardest thing, of course, were these legs. And then the nice thing that I put the eyeball in, and then I embroidered the mouth, and then I put the other eyeball in, and then I closed it up. As you can see, my decrease looks terrible compared to the increase. I don't know what happened there, but whatever, it's done. The pattern, the hardest thing were the legs, because like I said, you were dealing with some really small numbers, crocheting in these little tiny tubes. Also, I used a different hook size than she suggested. I want to say she recommended for this pattern to use a 2.25 or a B hook. And I used this one here, which is a 3.75. I know. I mean, I thought, golly, that's small. I have these tiny little crochet, or these little clover amours, but this is what I used. Then the next one I made was this guy here. Now, I had to do a lot of work for this one. I'm going to show you the pattern for this. It is also in this book. Maddie wanted this. And first, before I even thought about it, I realized I made it in reverse. I know, to be honest, I do like it better the way that it is, but I had made the center and then I was like, wait a minute, I made it the wrong way. It's like I was doing with that advent calendar blanket back here. But I just went with it. I really didn't, I mean, it doesn't matter. There is this one right here that is in that same color, so it's fine. This is called the, what does she call it? The pattern for this one's called Sensational Sunflower. Well, it's more like some kind of daisy. But anyway, actually following the pattern, very easy. There was nothing tiny like on that last one that was hard to do. The one thing that is a little tricky for me was the whole, and I knew would be a difficult situation, was the flower stalk. I'm trying to get it so you can see it. Right away in the very bottom, when I got into the purples, I knew that I needed something to keep it flat. She recommends cardboard, and I do not recommend cardboard. Just because number one, I'm giving this to my daughter, and I know something will spill and it will get wet. So I use plastic canvas. You know, those plastic canvas sheets that have the little holes in them, and people make them into Kleenex boxes. And I trace this out on this size onto the plastic canvas, and I cut it into a circle. Of course, it wasn't exact, and I don't need the holes, so, you know, just cut it out. I put it into the bottom, so that gave it a firm bottom. The other thing I like about using the plastic canvas is that you can then take the, you know, you start this with a magic ring, the center, and you can use that to sew. You can't really tell because I was very careful to make sure the yarn went into the stitches, and sew the plastic canvas ring. I wish you could feel it. It's right down here into the bottom. So it has a firm, flat bottom. That way, if anything gets wet, it's not, you know, it's going to be fine. So then the yarn that I used for this is all this yarn that I got from Hobby Lobby. It calls for a lilac, but I will go ahead and I used a little bit darker of a purple. The only one in this grouping that did not come from that little group back there was the orange, and this orange is Red Heart Super Saver orange. I've been using that for quite a while. I just used it on whatever project I was talking to you guys about the other day. Oh, I used it on Georgie's beak and legs. It really was very, very easy project. Now, the other thing that I did different, because I know about floppy necks, is I knew I had to put something in here that was going to be a little stiff to hold this very floppy flower. So actually, one of my knitting buddies, who, to be honest, now that I have a full-time job, I don't go knit with them anymore. She had recommended that I use these plastic straws. Now, these aren't like the plastic straws that you get at McDonald's or Culver's or whatnot. This is a very thick plastic straw. You can buy them at Walmart in the party section or wherever you get paper plates and whatnot. So it's a much sturdier, thicker plastic straw. And I put it all the way down into the little pot. The pattern asks you to close the dirt off. Oh, this is Red Heart Cafe. I did not. I left a small hole in there to stick my plastic straw down into the base. So the straw runs all the way through up into here. I cut this much of the straw off. Do you see that? I just went upstairs with a actual like butcher looking knife. I don't know why that's so funny to me, but you know, it's a real sturdy knife. And I just like sawed the top of the straw off, and I inserted the straw down into the dirt and I stuffed around it. Then I crocheted this tube. Now she recommends to do, she says 7 stitches or 7 rounds for the stalk, but I added 8, 9, 10, and 11. I added that many more rows because of, number one, how tall I made my straw. But also I wanted to sew the straw, because I stuck the straw in the dirt and had it come off, I had to sew the stem to the dirt. Do you see that in there? And I just whip stitched it in there. And then this is the top of the tube, and I stuffed it. And then I just sewed the top of the stalk to the flower. This is where it all joins and it looks icky. So yeah, that is what this pattern is looking like. I knew straight away that I was gonna need to use this straw to make this pattern. If you don't push it down right, it does start to flop a little bit. I also made sure I ran the, so because I started up here, I left a long enough tail when I made my magic ring so that I could sew really tight back here, and then I ran it down and then pulled it back up and then pulled real tight. And then, I mean, I had to do a lot of work to make this a real tight join so it can stand up by itself. I have not yet given this to Maddie, and I will shortly. But yeah, I'm pretty impressed with it. There are a few more patterns that I want to make out of this book. But I just wanted to make this quick video, and I really do love this rainbow. I think that's cute, but it's going to be a lot of color changes. And look, it has those terrible, now that I've made those terrible legs, I don't know that I want to make any more. I also really liked the raindrop, but again, it has those terrible little legs. And then all the fruit in here has arms and legs on it like that. I also kind of wanted to make, well, actually, I want to make this cake, I want to make this sundae, and I want to make that little bear. I'm not sure why that bear is in with the desserts, but I would like to make that as well. I believe this book, if I recall, is $17 or about that, $18 off of Amazon. I'll put a link in the description. And to make these amigurumis, like I've said, I used Red Heart, I used I Love This yarn, I used a little bit of Crafter's Secret, and then I used the Bella Coco yarn. The only big difference in the two yarns is this yarn is very soft and this yarn is scratchy. Well, with the exception of Love This yarn. That stuff did not, but I'm going to tell you, this Red Heart up here, it did feel scratchy. So this yarn does feel nicer, but I suppose it doesn't really matter. It's not like you're wearing this, right? So I guess scratchy, stiff yarn holds its shape. I don't know. This little guy is cute. She gives very good instructions on between which rows to put the eyes, embroider the mouths. So that's very nice. She does give very clear instructions. These, who is it that makes these? I felt like I saw her picture in here. Jennifer Santos is the creator of this book. Oh, here she is. There she is. Let's see what's about Jennifer Santos. She is the founder of Super Cute Design Shop, this online store where she sells her patterns. She has over 140 Instagram followers. She has had many of her patterns featured in Simply Crochet magazine, Inside Crochet magazine, Molly Makes magazine, and she currently lives in Sweden with her husband, 2 kids, and 2 cats. Her Instagram is at Super Cute Design, so I'm gonna have to take pictures of these and post them. And she has an Etsy shop, Super Cute Design Shop, Etsy.com. So yeah, I do really like this pattern book, and they are very cute. They are too cute. Her title of her book is perfect. So So yeah, check out this book. There'll be a link in the description if you want to buy it off of Amazon. There'll be a link in the description to John Boy Crochet. Go check him out. And if you're just working on a project, just hanging out, and you want somebody very interesting and kind-hearted, he seems to be very kind-hearted and loving. You know, he seems to have a really good word to say. Yeah, listen to him. Turn him on. Listen to him in his cute Southern accent. I do love a Southern accent. Yeah, so that's who I will be binge watching for the next day or so while I'm down here in my crochet corner. Thanks for watching and subscribing. Thanks for liking and sharing my videos. Until the next video, happy crafting. Bye!